Oh, man. All right, let's take a look at. No, I don't want this. These guys actually. Pro Football Network actually does a pretty decent job of updating. But let's take a look here. I'm not big on him. So. D'Angelo Hardy, solid. I'm gonna be really disappointed. I know. Like, so I'll just go through it. Like, that's one guy right off the bat that I think is worthy of it. I like. He's actually pretty interesting. He can play running back and he's a wide receiver. No brainer there. Carolina, good D end. Obviously, one of my favorite guys in the whole draft class. Carolina Panthers got him. Willie Drew, another good pickup there. So that's two guys for the Panthers. Bears picking up Manu's partner in crime. I thought he's better than Manu. So there's that. Anybody else in here? Keith Randolph's good too. Oh, he's good. Chroma. Yeah. So Bears picked up three guys that I like already. Jesus freaking Christ. And look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati has three guys that I was huge on. Burgess, which I did a video on. Blazek was in my under what's the word? Sleeper video. So did a video on him. Blazek is underrated. And then PJ Jules, I don't know why he didn't get any press. This guy is actually a freak. He was like their whole defense at Southern Illinois. Browns picking up him. I thought we would get him on that. Lorenzo Thompson. I thought that would have been an easy guy for us to grab. Not big on Brevin Spanford, but even then, getting him UDFA would have been smart. Blake Watson, receiving back. Omar Brown, we brought him in, right, for a 30 visit. Couldn't even grab him. He's a decent slot. So is he. Good D tackle. Another D tackle. Good defensive tackle. So Packers are doing well there. They brought in the Janky brothers. Smart. Bean going to the Colts. Anybody else in here? No. So even seems like everybody's getting people. Oh my gosh, they got Brevin Easton. Good move. And Stephen Jones. Jacksonville. Nice move. He's really, guys, honestly, really underrated wide receiver out of U Albany. And Stephen Jones is almost exactly like if you need a backup for Onwenu, Stephen Jones is your dude. Big running back, nice and powerful. Left tackle that got hurt in his pre-draft, so I think his draft stock dropped, but probably easy to get steal. Yeah, these guys. He's one of the faster tight ends. Oh no, no, never mind. It's the other Cup. Not from Texas Tech. And then Curtis Jacobs was one of the top linebackers of the draft class. What the Raiders get? Lulu Griffin, he's good. Coker, solid left tackle. Carter Bradley, probably should have been drafted. So I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the team. Chargers. Yep, picking up Zach Hines. Even though his foot's injured, he'll be fine. Anybody else in here that I know? Akeem Dent. Nice. Good for these guys. Luke Benson could be a great fullback. Nice job, Chargers. Sam Wiglew's got in there. I was wondering if he was going to make it to UDFA. Josh Wallace, local Massachusetts kid, going to the Rams. Let's see. Jaquan Burton. Of course he'd pick up Jaquan Burton. Amazing route runner. And they got Mark Perry. And they got Gabe's brother. And Storm Duck is actually a pretty decent corner. So Dolphins picking up some legitimate guys, draftable guys. Vikings hitting it out of the park. Here's this guy's a fullback. Actually, more of like an H-back, I should say. So H-back, plays O-line. Mostly, he's a big dude, but he plays really well for inside for the guard. One of your best edge rushers, even though his arms are pretty short. Same thing with Bo Richter. Plays a linebacker, but he's an amazing edge rusher. Dallas Gantz, basically, him and Olafosio, your best coverage linebackers in the draft. Of course, and we get two. What do we got? Like Mikey Victor, home run. That's a home run UDFA, guys. Charles Turner's solid, but I don't. Oh my gosh! So we have two things. It's always embarrassing. It's either we're saying we don't want to spend money or nobody wants to come. Either way, like what's going on? Because I'm looking at two guys that I would be huge. Like getting Mason Tipton from Yale, super shifty. Kyle Sheets, awesome, big X potential. There's Dallin Holker made it to UDFA? I didn't know that. Oh, and they got Kyle Hergel too. Freaking A. Oh, very nice. John Giles made it. Somebody picked him up. The Giants got him. And this guy's good too. Kubas. Good. I think he played left guard for North Dakota this year. Eagles. Look at this. Look at this. McAllen Castles, Aneem Dankwa, who's a big, that's a project and a half, but it's worth pushing. The guy's like 6'8", almost 6'9", and like in the 370s, big dude. Gabe Hall, we brought him in. Oh no, we talked to him at the Senior Bowl. Nope. Guess we didn't want to get him. Even though we have like basically, Terrell Owens' son. Of course he went to the 49ers. That's Terrell Owens' son. He's actually, on tape, he's pretty good. It's just that his numbers aren't great because he went to Missouri State. So I'm sure this guy will probably make, Tariq will probably make the 53-man roster, and he'll probably be like wide receiver 5, of course, and then they'll be able to trade somebody. Seahawks. That's a huge win for them. That's another guy that you wanted. This is another guy. So 1, 2, 3. And Easton Gibbs, there's another linebacker. So they have 4 guys that I would love to have in the house right now. Judge Culpepper can play. I think he's got testicular cancer, though, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Or he's coming off it. Kalen DeLoach, I thought he would be another person we consider, but because he's a good coverage linebacker. Let's see. Javier is really good, too. Look at that. Khalid Duke. So everybody else has got at least one. That's the last one. Yeah, the Commanders. AJ Woods is the one I'd pick here. So everybody's got a decent amount of dudes I'd love to have. I would say the Saints probably have the most with Hergel. I would see us picking up a guard. It's just like you could have gotten booked Hergel later on. Getting Mikey Victor. Dial's good, but Mikey Victor I thought would be if you got him. Oh my gosh, I'm so I don't know. The lost opportunities in this draft is going to hurt, I think, down the road. Just like last year. Not just going after and taking your chance and then, well, he's not so good at this or he might not be so good at that. Then coach him up, guys. Look what happened to DeJuan Jones last year. DeJuan Jones fell to day 3, and the dude was almost like all pro last year because of the concerns. So dumb. Jacksonville Jaguars got 2 guys that we should be thinking about getting. Easy. You want to get your guard dude? Here's Stephen Jones. Go look at his tape, guys. I'm not saying the guys we picked up in the draft are bad at all, actually. It's just there was other things you could have got, so we didn't. So now, it's Lorenzo Thompson. You could have got freaking A. All right. Anyway. So let's go. That's what we have right now. Let's talk some guys that are obviously haven't been claimed yet that should be on our radars. I think the first one would be Joe Andreessen as a linebacker from Buffalo. I did a video on him. I'm sure he's going to get picked up by somebody. Actually, let's go in here. I haven't not filled in what happened today. We did pick up Jaheim Bell as a tight end, but he's probably going to be used more of like an H-back, fullback situation rather than an inline guy, and he's probably just a big receiver. We missed out on edge guys. Is there anybody? So Ayabi Okanonoma. Grayson got picked up. He got picked up. Javonte did. Miles Cold. So Ayabi Okanonoma might be one. Juice Welka. Did Javon Solomon get drafted? So he might be an option too. He got drafted. Kingsley. Oh, we just brought what's his face in. Sundal. I don't think has been claimed yet. So keep an eye out for him. Tackles. Greenfield just got in there. Israel got drafted. Glover got drafted. Oh, Frank Crum is still out there. So there you go. Frank Crum is still on the prowl. Other tackles to look for. Nolan Potter. He's another decent tackle out there that's floating around. Guards. Stephen Jones was taken. Bray Walker's an interesting guy to keep an eye out for. Doug Nestor got claimed. I don't think Gadlin got picked up yet. Or he might have been drafted. So, Bray Walker and... Oh, Terrell Simpson. Did he get drafted? We brought him in. So, we got Terrell Simpson as a possibility. Bray Walker. Gadlin. So, there's options there for extra bodies coming in. Frank Crum is still out there. Ayabi Okanonoma. Wide receivers wise, there's still a lot of them. David White Jr. Dallas got Flournoy. But David White Jr. is still out there, guys. I believe so, right? So we got David White Jr. as a potential guy to pick up as a big slot. And that would at least give us, an option of, ditching Taekwon or Booty. He's a little bit big, guys, so he'd probably be a solid Booty replacement. Corners. Yeah, I think all those guys got picked. But we did pick up Mikey Victor as far as I know. That's a huge, guys, if you're just coming in, that's huge. Michael Wiley, he didn't get drafted. So there's a receiving back we can pick up. Jeremy Flax is another tackle to bring in. Let's talk this. Drafted, picked up already. Jalen Green, I don't think has been claimed yet. He's a good guy. He's a good edge rusher. I don't think Willie Roberts has been claimed yet. That's another solid corner to pick up. Hayden Hatton, there's your name. There's the wide receiver you're looking for too. So you got David White, Hayden Hatton. I'm not sure about Cephas yet. Jaquan Jackson, Drake Stoops is another wide receiver to look for. Zachary Franklin's pretty good too. So there's some other names out there like wide receiver wise you guys can. Oh, Davius Richard, I don't think he got picked up yet too. See, that's, everybody's going to be like, Joe Milton with his arm. Davius Richard, although just got the Dak Prescott and Trey Lance ankle situation, dislocated ankle, like if you're really not in a big hurry, why wouldn't you just offer him something at UDFA? Because he's good and he tested out great. So there's still bodies out there. Jelani Baker's pretty good too. I don't think McGregor got drafted, so that's an edge rusher that's out there. Like I said, Coker. Oh no, Coker got picked, right? Yeah, he did. Esther got picked up. Tyrone Howell. Richard Jimenor. There's an edge guy. He's basically very similar to Jalix Hunt in how he plays, in terms of responsibilities, I should say. Mason Pline is a tight end, as a legitimate tight end. So there's that. Mike Edwards is out there as an offensive tackle, All-American. Again, Kingsley, I'm not sure if he has been picked up. Quinzel Lockhart, another big wide receiver, had an awesome time at the HBCU Bowl. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get picked up. Maybe there's just a lot in his background that people are just staying away from. But let's see, Stephen Jones got picked up. Daquan Hardy Beanie Bishop, Blazek got picked up. Sheets got picked up. Owen Glasgow, there's another tight end. I love that guy. Did a video on him. Miles Battle's a big corner. Keep an eye on. Sean Stevens, I think he had like 6 interceptions last year. Like I said, Bray Walker, Julian Hicks, really good deep threat from UAlbany. Wallace got picked up. Dylan Kelly from, I think he won the defensive player for FCS this year. Ty James hasn't been claimed yet, so that's another wide receiver to pick up. So there's bodies out there, guys. Pretty highly rated dudes. I mean, I guess it's my rating, but I promise you that these guys do not suck. They're not random dudes. Like, these guys are all either, well accomplished. I mean, they're in the same realm as Jacob Cowling and Kalen King, in my opinion. So there's still some guys out there, especially at wide receiver. I know everybody's still looking for 1 or 2 more. I think they'd be stupid not to, because just how deep this class is, there's a lot of guys that just kind of rolled over into UDFA. Same thing with tackles. I just banged out 4 or 5 of them in there. Tight ends, there's a few. The concern to me is probably the edge. Yeah, edge would probably be my problem right now. Anybody in here picked up, drafted? Hergel got drafted. Here's an edge guy. He got injured for most of the year, but he's from Michigan. He transferred to Charlotte. Oh, yeah, Abi. So he's in there. Old Dapo got drafted. Wiley, he's still undrafted. Sundel, that's another tackle I think didn't. Oh, Devron Harper, that's a really dynamic wide receiver, running back, and kick returner for Mercer. Deloach. This guy got signed, or not, he got drafted. A lot of people were laughing at me when I brought him up. Go after yourself. Caleb Hood's out there. I think O'Keefe. Oh, Chris Walker. He's a good solid left tackle. Blake Larson's a little bit... this guy's nasty. He's older, but he's nasty. This guy could be interesting. I don't know if... I don't know if these guys are even looking at him, because we're notoriously bad at UDFAs, to be honest with you. But he's basically like Johnny Wilson, 6'7", 204, just crazy at the perimeter. Grable, I don't know if Grable got picked up, did he? Keelan Robinson is a running back. Gabe Wallace is an awesome guard. Riegerman is a fullback. Yankoff's going as a fullback / tight end, H-back. Donovan Jennings, I think, got picked up. Big running back Jarvian Howard, beast. Here's Wayne Ruby. Daquan Evans is an interesting dude. He hasn't got picked up either, I don't think. Here's one of my favorite guys now. He was way off on the bottom, but that's at the end. You know what? I was talking to somebody and they said it was actually a spot-on comparison how, in terms of build and how they play, is Max Crosby. It's interesting. Cole Burgess did get signed. Ryan Cole, there's a left tackle that we can possibly bring in. He played guard this year, but he can play tackle. Again, that just bothers me. You could have easily just fucking stupid. Griffin could, again, another guy you can bring in for interior. Bennett is big enough to play on the tackle, but I think he just got signed. He got signed. Signed. He's still out there. He got signed. Or he got drafted, sorry, I should say that. He's an interesting linebacker. Actually, I shouldn't say he's good. Tested out well, and is an absolute monster on special teams. He got picked up. Kevin Symes could be somebody you can pick up. He's an interesting edge guy. Now we're starting to get to like you might have to really dig in for these guys. Their stats are okay, but they barely got any snaps, and that's why they're this far down. You'd have to really know the guy. Yeah, these guys had very like Taylor Upshaw. He's probably one of the few ones that are just down here. I just don't like how he plays. All right, so I think the tackle situation is probably number one. So let's just. I'm gonna just take a look at my 600 just in case there is anybody in here that I didn't grade out. Oh, Matthew Foster. Now he'd be way off, but Will Canty's a beast. But he's from Lincoln University. I think it's like D2. Nothing against that at all. Trust me. Oh, you know what? James Cahoon. If you want actual... Like, this is another thing. Like, this guy went to Bridgewater State. He got, who is it? The Green Bay, the Vikings, the Jets, and somebody else. I'm forgetting already. Was it Pittsburgh? All of them worked him out. And he's like, Bridgewater. He's right down the road. Oh, don't worry. We got our guy. There he is. He's 591st on my big board. We got him, though. We brought him in. Admittedly, I had him higher rated, but I didn't know where to put him. He's kind of like a holding pin right now, so he's better than these guys by far. Mark Pope is another guy to think about. He had a good year. All right, guys, so let's go to offensive tackles real quick. And actually, you know what? Before I do that, let's see if this has been updated. Yeah, it's getting longer. We'll run through the whole the updates in a minute. What are we doing? What are we doing? We just lose. The last several years, we just can't get anybody to show up. This is who you should have got, but you didn't. Of course, there's other people, but it's just like, come on, guys. All right, so let's see if we can find a tackle for us. Legitimate left tackles to talk about that didn't get drafted. He's a right. Nolan Potter is probably the first one there. Frank Crum is the first, actually. Frank Crum is the very first left. Actually, do we have to even go up here? Garrett Greenfield got picked up. I think Levinston got picked up too. Or drafted, I should say. Shit. So Nolan Potter, Frank Crum, and then Nolan Potter are probably my top two off like left tackles that like legitimate left tackles that can play that I know or have yet to be reported as signed for UDFA. Thompson got picked up. Sundell played left tackle at North Dakota State. He's 6'5", 300. He's got the length, but I think he plays better at tackle, at center. Chris Walker. think Grable got picked up already. Jennings guy, I know, got picked up. Bennett did too. So Mike Edwards, and then there's Mike Edwards too. So Mike Edwards. I guess you could say Bray Walker might be an option there. He played, no, he was more of a right tackle. So there's like only 4 or 5 guys left that can probably really play. Like, I'd go with him. If I had a choice, it would probably be Mike Edwards, because he can play some guard as well if you needed him to, and he can move for his size. Nolan Potter's a little stiff and upright. Oh no, Frank Crump. So go Frank Crump, Mike Edwards, Nolan Potter. Ryan Cole would be an option there too. So would Sundle. So now edge. Edge. That could be a rough one. So Yabi Okanoma is my top there. That's for sure. Jalen Green's an interesting guy to throw out there. McGregor, I don't think got drafted. He'd be another interesting one. Sundiata got picked up. Jackson did too. Oh, he got drafted. Brubrocker. So there's actually a decent amount of edge guys we can consider still out there. Tight ends is probably going to thin out pretty quick. What else did we really miss on? I mean, we got a tight end, but he's not a freaking tight end. He's an H-back, fullback, and large wide receiver. I don't even know if you can put him in as Joker. Don't get me wrong. I like Jaheim. I really do. I thought he'd go by the 5th round, so I'm glad we got him that late. Like, I'm astonished. He's a very similar situation where I was like blown away that we got Pop Douglas so late last year, and so there's still plenty of wide receivers. Not so many left tackle bodies. There's some decent guards that can play. Centers. Tight ends is thinning out. Corners, there's actually a decent amount. Safeties might be an issue. Linebackers, there's a few there. Quarterbacks, still waiting on Davius Richard, where he's going to end up. Oh, someone mentioned that my audio doesn't work. It's only like half the audio. I'll take a look at that sometimes, guys. At some point I will. All right, so this was updated 8:15. It's 8:45. That's going to hurt me. That's a good one, too. Cincinnati. 3 guys that I loved. 1, 2, 3. Could have got this guy later on. He had a great year last year. Didn't have a good year this year. If you guys really needed a guard that bad, why couldn't you just wait to get JV and just like later on in the draft? Such a freaking wasted pick. So I'm not seeing that much added actually since the last time I looked. So we're looking for, right now I'm looking for if we see David White Jr. This is what happens when your team is notoriously known to be cheap. You're a losing team, and you have a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. Nobody wants to show up. Nice move by the Jets. This guy is, I mean, when he plays well, he's first round talent. He just has problems staying focused. We need to bring in D tackles, and we got somebody. All right, let me just check something. If you guys have anything, let me just check the chat right here. Let's see what we got here. Running back to Sean Fenwick. Oh my lord. What are we doing? I am beyond, yeah, to answer that question, Gerard, I am extremely surprised about Crum. Oh, look, actually, you know what? Where's Fenwick on my big board? You know, because I watched his highlights, like a week ago. Actually, he might not even, I might have actually cut him out of the original 1,000, because I was just like, what am I looking at? Not the sheet, the workbook. Sorry. He's 54th on my... He's not even on my big board, but he was on my original. Yeah, he's ranked 54th. I haven't touched this in a long time, so... But this might actually give me some ideas here. Did Blake Watson get signed? LaDainian Webb is pretty interesting. I saw Aiden Robbins got picked up. That's a smart move. He'll be a fullback. Keelan Robinson's probably where we should be thinking about it, because he's a good kick and punt returner. Yeah. Yeah, probably Keelan. But, I mean, I don't even have him on. He wouldn't even be in the top 600 or 700. Yeah, he wouldn't even be in the top 700. To answer that question, where is Fenwick? Yeah, he's 54th, so he would have been like way outside. There's only a few guys that I moved up later on, so that answers your question. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Broncos got Watson. Thank you. Thank you. With the Control F. Yeah. For a guy who actually uses Excel all the time, when I'm doing names and not numbers, I am like backhanded. Yes. Yes, Jamar, that was probably where I was. Those were my top guys. Coker, Sheets, Sundell, Hall. That would have been like, not only would those guys would have been actually draftable, but it would have been stupid not to be like literally having their agents on speed dial the moment Mr. Irrelevant was announced, and just been like, we're doing this. All those guys. Not getting Jalen Coker. Not as it like, it's like almost, because he's a regional dude. Like, people from New England went to watch that guy play at Holy Cross and be very impressive. And he's like you talk to anybody who knows him. I know I have a couple kids that, you know, I work with that are currently athletes at Holy Cross, and they're like, the guy's awesome. Oh. Christian Jones, didn't he go to he got drafted. I think he went to Arizona. So we got Jacob Warren. Oh my gosh. Caleb Bourne. Caleb, there he is. There he is. Jacob Bourne. So 25th, 6th year, 6'6", 250. Oh yeah, who got David? We haven't seen Hayden Hatton or David White yet. Yeah, those are my guys too. Yeah, I agree, Jamar. Um, definitely, I think he's definitely better than Tez Walker. That's for sure. Keon Coleman, like I think people started to pick up on the idea, like, and I'll say it again. I'll blabber on for hours on this, which is, you watch Keon Coleman run, and he do his 40. There's two big problems with why he was slow, right? And the reasons why he's slow doesn't matter when you're like running a route. Okay, so the guys who are really fast are obviously track trained. The guy's a basketball player, historically. So they never ever get up to like a top end speed, right? Because you're always running, but you're running with the ability to change directions and adjust, go backwards, right? Because you're always looking to be in transition in basketball. So things you don't practice in basketball is starts. You don't do any sort of block starts, right? Or even a 3-point stand start. Nothing. There's no like stand still and go except for literally the tip off, right? So, or when you're shooting a free throw, but everything else is in motion, right? So his start was horrendous. It was so, and not only was it slow, it was just he probably would have been better off literally standing up and just doing a two point, like actually doing his get off, like that would have been it. And then the other thing is that he was overstriding and was doing like basically a midfoot to heel strike. So he was rolling through he wasn't pushing anymore. He was rolling. He was almost like scooching his feet along. He didn't have like a phase 3 in terms of his sprints. So what was that saying is that he never was able to he was basically governing his legs. He was never going to hit it. And it's probably, it's all his fault in not getting prepared. That is something to say. Like you can't hate some guy who does really well in the 40 because he prepared. That's something, it's a positive. Like that guy went out, he listened to somebody, he got the training done, and he adjusted and he got it done. Or he's already been trained as a track athlete, and that's just a positive in the first place. Obviously, Keon Coleman's not that, but guess what? He's going to probably do pretty well with the Bills. We're going to have a problem with him. We are. So I'm not saying like Keon Coleman's like Diggs in any way, but don't, just because he's a little bit slower, the guy's a natural athlete. Just can't test very well. But yet his real speed, like real time speed, he's fine. Like actual GPS tracking on a field, he'll be fine. Oh, and by the way, a few degrees of separation information. Xavier Worthy presumably put, this is what I mean, this could, actually, you know what, I'll stop. But anyway, what were we on? Let's do some. Anybody else got any updates? I don't. Although I follow Twitter to a certain extent, I'm not like following every single dude. So if you guys, Wayne Ruby signing with the Jaguars. Damn. Let's see if actually, we can probably just do individual. Mike Edwards. Just let me take a look here. Sorry that I'm doing this off screen. Oh, he doesn't even have one. Oh, come on. The Bills are getting Mike Edwards. Shit. So there's another left tackle that's actually legit that we are probably going to be facing next year. Great. Next. Who was the other one? Frank Crum. Let's see what he's doing. Anybody got any news on Frank Crum? not seeing anything yet on him. He might be negotiating. Latest. Can we just get regular? I hate sometimes when you have to deal with freaking how they have these searching. Broncos. Dude. We can't get anybody you want. Like, ah. Oh. Yeah, Mikey Victor. I just watched. You know what? I'll do a video on him, guys. Stabby McStab. That's the awesome name. Yeah, Frank Gore to the Bill. Frank the Tank. Frank Crum is going to the Denver. Right? Wasn't it Denver? Yeah, so Frank Crum's going to Denver. So that leaves like Nolan Potter. I mean, there's other guys. Trust me, we can dig in all day if we want to. Tampa Bay. Ugh. We can't get a freaking left tackle. We just can't. We can't get a dude. And then you know what? So here's the thing. We might be literally just sitting around giving high fives because we've got Drake May and we don't want to do anything about it. We're good. And I'll say this, guys. I would say there's about 4 or 5 guys that made the free agency left tackle that I would say would come in and actually have a shot at being like a practice squad dude, right? Or making it to the 53-man squad if they really did their homework. Because honestly, it's I'm saying not loaded in terms of talent, but all right, how about this? It's crowded. It's really crowded now. They have, and the guards, like, there's dudes going to be cut. Like, they're going to be cutting more than they're going to be signing. Now, another thing to point out here, guys, which is an interesting thing about the UDFA situation, is the next big event for signing, which I guess you can say it's the post draft free agency. So all the guys who have yet to be signed yet, there's which are significant. There's also guys who are going to probably be cut, right? Because now you got these guys coming in. They're like, hey, we can get rid of an aging veteran that we don't want to pay their final 2 years of their salary that is definitely not worth it. So, you can get, well, like a very DeAndre Hopkins situation last year. And we can possibly pick up some guy right before, things start to pick up, kind of like how we picked up Zeke. So, during camp. So those are things that can still happen. So there's also that. But the other big thing is actually cuts, right? And when you're going through the waiver wires, when you first do the waiver wires, who are the people getting it? Who are the first people to have the shot at the guys going through the waiver wires? The teams with the worst records last year. So it's like kind of like a secondary draft. So and this is such a deep draft, and these guys are being signed, and all those guys that probably made through the draft are probably going to displace good 20% of the guys who were on teams last year. So you have like a secondary mini draft coming through from last year's either guys who've been on the practice squad for 2 or 3 years from other teams that you might actually do something for you. So it's not all over. But again, it is a little disappointing that we can't get any like big names. Now the Mikey Victor situation, that's there's other out of the defensive backs, that's probably the one him and PJ Jules would probably be the 2 guys I would have and Sean Stevens. So Sean Stevens, Miles Battle hasn't been picked up yet. Who's the other guy? Still looking for Joe Andreessen, Dylan Kelly for linebackers. That's another guy to keep an eye on. Let's see if we can find those. Joe Andreessen. Now Joe Andreessen, not only do I love the guy, how he plays and who he is, but he actually was in the local pro day. Let's see what you say, buddy. Come on, dude. All right. We can't get any freaking dudes to show up to this damn place. Nothing yet for Joe Andreessen. Dylan Kelly, I'll look him up real quick. David White Jr. is probably one that we need to keep an eye on, right? Not much at all. Nothing for Dylan Kelly, despite being a freak and having amazing tape. And also being the nephew of Jim Kelly, so maybe the Bills pick him up. Sean Stevens, let's see what happened with him. Steelers. Oh, no, wait. No. Sean Stevens. Nothing yet. He'd be a defensive back that would be... I mean, he tested out well, but, I mean, he's a ball hawk. Ty James. And then Devron Harper. I'll take a look for him, too. The Bears. Bears are getting Ty James. Fucking hey. Come on, guys. Devron Harper. I know they talked to him. I know the Patriots talked to him. Minnesota Vikings. Come on. Dude, do we suck or what? Packers. The Packers got Julian Hicks. Are we like... Guys, we can't get anybody. Ooh, Evan Anderson, good call. He did not get drafted. We didn't even get Julian. We can't even get Julian Hicks. I'm just glad those guys got drafted because they went underappreciated in the process. I know that a lot of these names I'm tossing out, like the other Patriots guys don't really cover, but 49ers, Evan Anderson. Anybody else to consider? Actually, let's look at Bray Walker right now. Nothing yet. Oh yeah, Caleb Forbes Dement. Where is he going? Another safety corner who had a really great year at we got him. Oh yes, very good, nice. We got Caleb Forbes Dement. Nice. Yes. So we got some corners. Oh, I don't know why I'm it's just, you know what? I like the guy. Ball hawk, but also can hit. Just he went to he's Texas State, which a lot of people like Texas State is actually the last few years have been very good. I don't know what they're doing down there, but oh my gosh. All right, so we got... That's freaking awesome. We got corners now, but we still can't get the left tackle, and we're not signing big name wide receivers that we could possibly... We need tight ends too. Huh. Oh, we got Del Pettis. He's pretty good too. Okay. Zuri Henry. Let's take you, and you should be... You're not going to be on my big board, but you should at least be in the... Nope, not even in there. Great. I got over 100 tackles, and you're not in there. Great. We can't get a freaking tackle. All right, so we got the men. That's good. They didn't even have that on there, did they? They don't. But he's pretty good. Del Pettis is pretty good. Mikey Victor's awesome. He's solid, actually. Kyle Sheets. Yeah, they got Juice. And they got DeJuan Edwards. Beanie Bishop, too. Man, Pittsburgh had a freaking draft. Pittsburgh had a great draft. Dallas had an awesome draft. I mean, Seahawks, what are you guys doing here? They got Hayden Hatton. Just punch me in the face. Just do it. Just do it. Just punch me right in the face. We actually talked to that kid and we can't even get him in. I will just say it, like, maybe I'm just, because, like, there's some good wide receivers out there. Phenomenal. Any other, I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, when I was doing some of these, when I was doing some of those videos, people are like, those guys are not even going to get UDFAs, and now they're, like, getting scooped up like you wouldn't believe. All right, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I'm kind of going all over the place here. There's Drake Stoops. Rams. Smart. Now, Drake Stoops is very... They got freaking now, that, if you want to talk... I didn't even do him because I did Cole Burgess, and he's from SUNY Cortland. The Rams had somebody on a dude in a Division III school in upstate New York. And what are we doing? Farting around. Don't worry, we got Drake, but we have our primary possession receiver with denervated calves and legs because of a knee. A guy who can run like faster than lightning, but can't run routes, and he's got small hands, and he's got thin clavicles. Where's your separators at? We got Douglas. I mean, even Javon Baker runs a good route, but he's not gonna snap dudes off. He's just gonna win at the point. And Polk is fast, but again, he doesn't snap people off. Like, he's not gonna like break a dude. Now, Brevin Easton, that guy like makes a move, and you're lost. So that leaves, I think, David White Jr. and Quinzel. Right off the top of my head. And I think I'm going to search, and I'm going to be really upset. Probably going to be in Buffalo. Just knowing how things are. Eastern Carolina. ECU. I'm not getting anything yet for him. Still, that's interesting. Quinzel Lockhart. Nothing yet for him. Nothing for Quinzel yet, and nothing for David White Jr. So there's some hope. And nothing for Joe Andreessen yet. All right. We'll stay on it. Let's just Daryl Simpson. There we go. That's somebody we need to look at. That's somebody we brought in. I have to go deeper than deep to find another potential tackle to bring in just to make me feel like we're trying. Nothing yet. The Donovan Jennings would probably be one of the guys. We talked with him, right? The Packers got him. Guys. Ethan Driscoll. Yeah, I think wasn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just saw his name got. His name was on here. Yeah. Oh, they got Ian Wheeler. Damn. So far we've got a couple guys I'm really happy about. Unfortunately, they're just corners. I shouldn't say just corners, but I mean, we got Wallace from Michigan. Yeah, that's the thing, Stabby McStab. Like we don't really need any more wide receivers, but the problem is like we're pretty redundant in some of the skill sets that we have. I know going and getting Polk. The problem with Polk is that you have to go get a guy who's relatively large that can at least separate. That's our big thing. And Polk, I'm not down because I think he's a good player, and he had great stats, and he's got some decent highlights. But he was benefiting from one of the best receivers in like college football in years, being on the other side, taking the primary cover receiver in the pack. I mean, the Pacific Conference like is not Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever it is, not exactly known for like handling big, hardy wide receivers. Like Utah was probably one of the better teams, that and Oregon in themselves. So, I mean, Washington would have to go against Oregon and Utah, and then everybody else like UCLA. No, not really. Not too many other teams in like USC. Everybody else in the pack had relatively lightweight corners, and in some cases just bad secondaries in the first place. Now Wallace is a local kid. Did they really actually pick him up? I didn't see that. I thought I saw he got picked up by somebody else. Josh Wallace is from Massachusetts, and actually went to UMass. So no, Josh Wallace went to. Oh, okay. So far as yeah, he's in the Rams. Savvy dude too. So to go back about the wide receiver situation, it'd be nice to have a guy who can work the middle of the field who's big, which would be like David White. David White's almost 6'3" and over 200 pounds, and I invite you to go look at the video I did with him. Dude was snapping guys off. Like his release package is very. I mean, it's aggressive and as impressive as like Demario Douglas, if not better. I'm being totally serious there. I'm not just trying to play that guy up. And then the other guy who can beat you on his decel, Quinzel on his 3-step decel is impressive. Like he, as for a dude that's like 215 pounds, like he stops within his 3-step stop is like freaking, I mean, the dude's got slotted carbon brakes, dude. Like he puts it on hard. He hits the e-brake. Now Jelani Baker, that's another one that I need to take a look at. Now he's a good perimeter guy. I would think of him more as a Z, but nothing yet for him. Jeremy Flax, he's a right tackle though. Let's see where he went. But he's like a legit right tackle though too. See, the thing is, if you do get me at least a legitimate right tackle, Vikings. He went to the damn Vikings. And the Vikings got Devon Harper. They got Ty James. Doug Nestor. Owen Porter. Like, why are these teams just so much better at just making phone calls? Pick up the phone and start dialing, right? Anybody else in here? Actually, let's see if we can get Gabe Wallace. Gabe Wallace from Buffalo. Trevin Wallace. I'm getting mixes up between Gabe and no, nothing from Gabe yet. Anybody else in here? Ryan Cole. Let's see what Ryan Cole's got. Let's see if he's got any news on him. Falcons. Falcons got him. Like it's like, oh. All right. Guys I thought we would never have to go digging for. You know, actually, look, what about Tylen Grable? He's pretty good. Did he get drafted? Oh yeah, they drafted him. Yeah, the Bills drafted him. That's right. Okay. Driscoll, he got picked up. He got drafted. Griffin McDowell, where did you go? He would be a center, but and a guard. He play tackle at Chattanooga, but I think his nothing yet. So he's interesting. I know he got injured a couple years ago. Matthew Foster. I don't think he's he's alright. I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm just trying at this point. Figure if there's anybody. He's definitely a left tackle. Nothing. Rayberg was very disappointing in his testing. Thomas got picked up. I saw that. Yeah, guys, don't expect any like UDFA left tackles to come in and just like blow us out. They're either gone or they're not worth it, really. What a joke. Richard Jimenor. If you guys see anything, you can post it. I'll try to read it. I'm going back and forth here. Seahawks. Josh Proctor went to the Jags. Seahawks did work. They did last year too. Just keep in mind that a lot of these guys actually, I didn't recalibrate this. He's a good special teamer to keep an eye on. I'm not going to look for him now, but oh, Trevor Williams. Yeah, what happened to him? I don't know. I know he got injured in his pre-draft process, so he tested out pretty bad. Nothing yet for him. Steiner went back to school. He's pretty good. I thought he was going to be good, but he tested Schaefer, but he tested out horrendous. Brian Holloway, he's not bad either. He's short, though. That's his problem. He's got short, and he's got short arms. Okay. Tight ends. Owen Glasgow. Haven't even looked him up yet. One of my guys. Nothing on Owen Glasgow yet. I would think the Jets would have been all over that dude. Cam Grady. Yeah, let's see where Cam Grady showed, if he's been signed by anybody. Cam Grady did get signed from someplace. Bengals! Fuck. Like, the Bengals, do you need any more tight ends? You literally have all the tight ends. You took all the tight ends. Guys, stay away. Shit. We suck. Al Blades. That's an interesting one to keep. Oh, where did Chiguzzi go? He's a little older, but he's actually pretty good. He tested out amazing. He signed someplace. I'm just trying to figure out where he is. I think Dallas, it looks like. Nope, Commanders. Dude, we are just running. I mean, we don't need another corner. Actually, you know what? We should probably be looking at safeties. Jalen Carlisle. Did he get drafted? He would be another big safety, though. Colts. Okay. He's one to look at. Jason Simmons from the Syracuse. He can play deep, and he comes up pretty easily, too. Nothing yet for Simmons. And they suck this stuff up real quick, don't they? It's like these guys get signed in minutes. Yeah, so he's still out there. Tyler Owens, there you go. He's probably already signed, but I don't know where. I know he got hurt, though. He got hurt at the... Commanders. And Arizona picked up Wiley. Jesus. Josh Proctor's gone. Oh, you know who's a... He got injured, but he was good. Was he at Utah? Emily Johnson. Amani, sorry. I see Emily. Amani Johnson. He is... Dallas. Holy crap, guys. Javon Morgan. Actually, I have a few names to throw in there. Javon Morgan, and then Pettiscalou. Pettiscalou is going to be an interesting one if he's been picked up. I don't see anything in Javon Morgan yet, though. Pettiscalou. How do you spell his freaking? It's a weird name. I think that might be right. I'll have to look it up. Hold on. Oh, John Huggins. Actually, we should look for that one, too. Oh, Steve Stevens. I did a thing on him. I feel bad. Oregon. Nothing yet. So he's out there. Cam Pettiscalou. What a name, right? Nothing yet. Okay, so he's still out there. And who was the other guy I was talking about? Oh, Justin Barron. No, he went back. I haven't cleaned up this list at all in probably like a month, so... Alright, let's do a quick rollback to this sucker. Actually, let me check the chat here, guys. Did you guys get anything else? Anybody? Frank Crump's been picked up. Driscoll is signed, yeah. The Patriots got John Trey Hunter. Okay, so that's a coverage linebacker. Now, his testing was pretty freaking embarrassing, to be honest with you. Braden McGregor, I have not seen anything on, and he would be awesome. Yeah, we did actually, Peter. We got some like, yeah, John Trey Hunter is pretty good actually. He plays well. Actually, you know what? He was a safety, and then he just kept putting on weight at Georgia State, and they just made him a linebacker. And then he, even when he was playing linebacker, they kept putting him back at safety because he was just like they needed help. I mean, nothing against Georgia State, but in terms of gems, yes, there's been Mikey Victor for the Patriots is probably your top guy. And then this guy's legit too. So I'm gonna go with these two. Everything, and Charles Turner is a good, yeah, like actually he's a graded, like he's draftable. Like he was draftable. This guy, because he went from Alabama State, but if you watch his tape, phenomenal. Like you want to talk about smooth, like silent, just absolutely fluid movement. This guy, hard hitting, gonna be ultra aggressive, and you're gonna hate going up against him every snap. This dude, and Del Pettis is just a very good. So like, basically this, and then I'll give you this. John Morgan, okay. Jacob Warren, not really sure. Zuri Henry, I don't even have him. Wouldn't even been on a top 1,000 list for me. Yeah, Charles Turner he can play. He can play. Charles Turner can freaking play. I'll give you that. I was happy to see him right away. They obviously targeted him immediately. Oh, you know what? So what's Mason Pline? I think he might have really hurt his freaking knee because he hurt it. It sucks, dude. He hurt it at the Hula Bowl, and I haven't heard anything since then. Except he's going to the 40 freaking Niners. I knew it. That was like, I'm like, I bet he goes to the 49ers and they take him. Damn it, guys. Oh, I said he was going to, I'm like, they're going to take him. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I freaking knew they're going to take that guy. Actually, you know what? I think I have a memory of, I think he might have been a 30 visit for them too. All right, so who else do we have here? Maybe Owen Glasgow is just. I hope that guy gets drafted. Dude's like a freaking beast. Max McCloud, right? That's another interesting. Did he get? Hold on, let me just check him up. Now he's a gem. Where was he from? Slippery Rock? No, he was Colorado Mines. Colorado Mines. Everybody's like probably saying like, who the hell is Colorado Mines? They've actually have a decent amount of NFL players. Nothing yet. Seems like some people are trying to speculate, but nothing on him yet. Okay, so he's still out there. David White Jr. I think is basically the top of my list that's still out there for wide receiver, and it is actually quite like a pretty solid like what the hell's going on. I don't get it. So the Panthers are taking Coker. He's got $25K signing bonus and $225,000 salary. What are we doing? How about Tyler Harrell? He's just another speedster, though. but let's see if anybody's picked him up. Nothing. So there's some speed guys out there. Tyler Harrell's he's the fastest guy in the whole draft right now. And then Carson Beck is another guy to keep an eye on. He's literally a world-class sprinter. Nothing yet. Now he's a Saint. All right, so Carson Beck is signed with the Saints. D tackles. I can't believe I have to go to this list to find somebody to even look up for at this point. Oh, Casey Rogers. Good call. Casey Rogers, that could be a nice pickup. Probably has been signed already, right? Giants. Elijah Chapman. Good one. Still nothing. So Elijah Chapman's actually out there, guys. I know you probably don't know who that is, but he plays D tackle, but he's a hell of an edge rusher too. Guy's nasty. Oh, Jalen Hutchins, actually, good call. I forgot about him. Please tell me. Stupid car. Nothing yet. So Jalen Hutchins is up. Who else do we say? Jalen Hutchins and then Elijah Chapman. Both these guys worth the look. Oh yeah, Isaiah Coe. Did he get picked up? Colts. within like a minute ago. It's crazy. Yeah, I think we might have already dried up everything's basically dried up. There's a wide receiver out there that I think is really beyond concerning that he has been picked up. Like, he's guys that I had graded in the top 150. So maybe something is really up there. Jelani Baker, so it goes David White Jr., Jelani Baker, still unknown. Anybody else in here that we should be looking at? He went back. Tyleek went back. Riley Mills went back. He got drafted. He got drafted. Anybody else you guys see any notes? Yeah, Leonard Taylor. Now, Leonard Taylor, the big thing about him, and there's a few guys on Miami, which I'm sure that's probably why we didn't draft any of them, is it's just notorious. Like, Miami is one of those schools where you just got guys that just think they can go in there, and then it's like, I hate to say it's a cesspool, but it's a school that just doesn't employ discipline. The standard is, you just get top talented dudes that can move, play well in high school and then don't adapt well to the college life. And I'm not saying like I was there and I saw this, but that's just notoriously what it is. So James Williams, Leonard Taylor. Now Cam Kitchens might be something different. That guy is a whole nother beast. But a lot of like your top Miami talent this year dropped a lot. Like it's crazy. Leonard Taylor should have been. Yeah, Leonard Taylor should have probably like started off the year basically being a first round talent. Same thing with Cam Kitchens, and then James Williams was probably a third or fourth rounder. And who was the one who got? Yeah, well, Cam Kitchens was like what, end of the third. James Williams was seventh round, and the end of the draft, and Leonard Taylor made it to UDFA. Running backs, good call. We haven't looked at that much as we did go over. There's not too many actually left that I was looking at. Keelan Robinson's probably the one that I think Marcus Carroll went back, right? Yeah. LaDainian Webb got picked up. Carson Steele got picked up. Did Schrader get drafted? Keelan Robinson's the one I haven't looked up. Oh, and Ron Cook Jr. from Buffalo's good too. I'm throwing names out, aren't I? Alright, let's see if he must have been picked up. Oh, they actually drafted him. I'm so sorry. They already drafted the dude. I haven't really sat down and actually went through every single thing in the draft. In the 5th round, too. Because he's a hell of a kick returner. Like, him with the new, like, kick return rules. Oh, my gosh. Alim Ford, he went back. Yeah, it's like... He went back. No, he got drafted. I'm going to look him up. I just want to know if he's been picked up yet. Not yet. All right. Well, I'll stick around. We'll keep. Who else? Maybe we should start picking with the big board again, because sometimes those are actually pretty messed up at this point. The individual position sheets. It's almost like a notepad rather than actually being organized. Yeah, you know what? Let's see if Brian Holloway's been picked up. Nothing yet. I like this guy. Let's see if I doubt he's been picked up. But you never know. Nothing yet for him. Even though having amazing seasons. Oh, what about Davius Richard? Has he been picked up yet? Anybody see something for Davius getting picked up yet? No, nothing yet. See, that's instead of going the Joe Milton route, you go Davius Richard because when he gets back, he'll actually be able, like, you can actually keep him in the back pocket as a quarterback. Whereas Joe Milton, like, you have to be he's doing something. He has to be doing something else. There's no way you draft a second quarterback with how many people you already have in the room, unless you're really going to get rid of Rourke and Zappy. And in that case, you do, which they might do anyway. But point being is, like, Joe Milton is going to be some sort of, it's basically Malik Cunningham 2.0. But Davius Richard, you can actually, once he gets healthy, can be a legitimate, like, player for you, like an actual backup, and can play. Again, can be like a very similar. Actually, he's not as quick, but he's pretty damn fast. Yeah, he'd be another Lamar Jackson simulator. Kasim Hill. Did Jordan Colbert get picked up yet? He was at the Patriots 30 day, or local day 30 day. He's a freak athlete. Columbia. A lot of people talking about it. I don't see any. Nope. So there's some guys that we have at our local day that have not been signed yet. Still looking for something on Joe Andreessen. Still nothing on Joe Andreessen, guys. So that could be a possibility for a linebacker to bring in. Yeah, Michael Wiley got picked up. Oh, Jaden Sheridan. Schrader's still out there too, yeah. Now Sheridan I haven't seen. That's an interesting one. Panthers. Jackson Mitchell, also the Panthers, who's a linebacker from UConn. Matthew Jones went to the Dolphins. Beanie Bishop to the Steelers. Iyabi Okanoma, Chiefs. So all my edge guys gone. Freaking A, guys. We can't get anybody to show up. We actually need a running back. We need a running back. We need a legitimate tight end. We need an actual edge rusher. Oh, my Lord. All right, let's... Did Tua's brother get picked up by the Dolphins yet? I'm going to look up Chris Walker if he's been picked. I love that guy. Dude's nasty. Montana. Nope, nothing yet for him. Oh, Ryan O'Keefe. Let's take up Caleb Hood. And he would be a punt returner for us, and he's basically Demario Douglas. Nothing for him yet. Ryan O'Keefe. I think he might have been able to get another red shirt. And he's hanging out with Bill O'Brien. I haven't checked on BC's roster yet. All right, never mind. Apparently, he's not going into the draft. He's actually, you know what? He had a bad neck injury, so maybe he can't. Looks like he's going to be coaching at Texas State. Oh, quarterbacks. Yeah, let's take a look at some quarterbacks. Theo Day. And I'll talk about, let's take a look at the Bridgewater State dude. Theo Day. Nothing for Theo yet. What about Casey Bauman? I love that dude. Let's see if he's been... Now, I think he's going to the CFL, but... Let's see where he's at. A lot of chatter about him. Chargers. Fuck you. If you want... Now, I think Casey Bauman is this year's Tyson Bagent. I think when all things are said and done, and I'm not... Oh, I shouldn't say that, because he won't be able to prove it, right? We won't see, like, it's not like last year where, he actually got to play in games, but he's a dude that'll go UDFA, probably have a really good seat, and probably make his way onto the roster. Good for him. Good for him. See all these guys that I'm like, where are they? Like there's no way that they're making it, guys. So whenever you watch one of those videos they make, and you're like, there's no way that guy's gonna even be on a team. He's not even a camp body. Like I don't know, dude. All these guys. What about Jackson Sermon? What's he doing? And the Jets got him. Great. Oh, Mike Riegerman. There we go. Hey, guys, want to get like a fullback that actually plays tight end more than really fullback, but, but he blocks like he's good. Anybody got him? Nothing. Nothing on Riegerman yet. Hell of a special teamer, too. Oh, yeah, John Huggins. What'd he do? John Huggins, I think, is still out there. That's a safety we can look at. So Davius Richard, John Huggins, Jarvian Howard, he's a beast. Green Bay Packers. Did Sean Stevens get yet? I didn't even see that. Did he get picked up yet? Sorry that I'm going all over the place, guys. I'm just trying to figure this crap out. Nothing on Sean Stevens. Daquan Evans. That's another one. Nope. Nothing for him either. Okay. Zach Mathis. I'll look at these guys. I know he got picked up. Zach Mathis and Trenton Welk. Tampa Bay Bucks. It's like guys I thought, this is crazy. It's the time when I'm like, yeah, there's no way these guys they're not going to be going any place. Meanwhile, that just shows you how deep this draft class is. Yep, the Browns got Trenton Welch, sorry. So he's off the freaking board. I mean, a lot of these teams are bringing them in. They're not going to make the team. So we can probably take a look in several months, and they could be on the team, the Patriots. But Okay. I think almost everybody on this page. Oh, Halle. What happened to him? He's a D tackle. He didn't have a really great background going. Had some issues, but he can play. Nothing here on him. So he's out there as a D tackle. Did Sundal get picked up yet? The Browns. Damn, we were. Oh, Jesus Gibbs. What happened to him? He's a good pass rusher. Oops, something went wrong. Why am I getting oops, something went wrong? Let's try that again. Maybe they don't like me typing in Jesus. Yeah, nothing yet. So he's out there. Isaiah Reed's pretty good too. Yeah, running backs were screwed. So, yeah, these two guys are out there. Huggins is still out there. Sean Stevens is still out there. Actually, let's take a look at if Luke's been picked up. I doubt it. I think he might have to go to the CFL for a year and then prove if he can play. Dude's a beast, though. Nope. I was wrong. Totally wrong. Jets. Give me a break, guys. I thought this would, like, maybe I'm not helping us out by highlighting these dudes. I'm not joking, like, at this point, because, like, Wilfrid Laurier, Canadian football, like, Canadian college. Guys played football total for 3 years, so only in college. Dudes, Jets got him. Anybody else? Oh, Brian Abraham. Did the Patriots pick him up? They brought him in on the 30 local pro day. No, he's still out there. Okay. Him and Dylan Kelly looks like they're still out there. I like that guy. He played pretty well this year. Well, I'll stick around for a bit and just keep looking around. I won't bother you guys if you want to sit and just hang out. I'll try to answer some questions. I haven't done too much interaction. So I'll stop talking. I'll answer you guys' questions. Yeah, I mean Dolphins had a good one. Um, Commanders had a great draft. A lot of teams had great drafts because, again, let's just say this: like, if you needed something, you could go get it, and chances are in this draft, even in the 7th round, you're probably getting dudes that you thought could at least like actually make the roster. It wasn't like last year where like by the 4th round, most teams by the 4th round, the rest of the guys were just like practice squad dudes. You know, um, and a lot of people like and I'll go down this right now. Like a lot of people beat up the Patriots for last year's draft class. Actually, last year's draft class was pretty damn freaking good. And then they say like, oh, they didn't do anything with the offensive line. The Patriots were the only team in the NFL to draft 3 offensive linemen last year. Now they might not have been tackles last year, but I gotta say this. I mean, not picking DeJuan Jones is going to be one of my biggest problems that in terms of like recent memory for the Patriots not drafting. And this year it's probably going to be Brandon Dorless when they could have done that, except they go after a guard that they probably could have picked up 2 rounds later. But and probably plenty of other guys. I mean, maybe I have to sit there and watch him a lot more. But anyway, point being is like last year's draft was pretty good. But this year everybody had great drafts. Nobody really probably struggled minus maybe a few like what are you doing? And I think everybody's got the great. I mean, maybe this could be like one of the biggest gaffes in NFL history with Kirk Cousin and Michael Penix, 2 dudes that are broken. I don't know. We can talk about that all day if you wanted to. A lot of people think I was like anti Michael Penix. I'll spend a few minutes on this, and I think I might like close the books on Michael Penix. When you throw sidearm, right, the apex, so the highest point where that ball is in your throwing motion for him is about ear height or hairline. Like the ball never gets above his helmet, right? And when he throws it, he's 6'2". He's got guys in front of him who are like 6'3", 6'4". They didn't have really big dudes on Washington's. I don't even think... what was Fatanau? I don't even think Fatanau was 6'6". They had a pretty short line. Good line at Washington, but not tall, right? So he can't throw over those guys unless he throws the ball up in the air. So now if you throw a ball up, right, with a certain amount of speed, it's going to go a certain amount of distance. Now, the biggest problem with Michael Penix, not in terms of like the injuries, I'm talking like at him, you take that away from it, is that when he throws sidearm, you can't throw like 15 yards on the other side of your line when you throw sidearm, because you have to throw it hard enough and it's coming up at a certain angle because you're throwing it up, right? It's not like when you're, Drake, when you're nearly 6'5" and you're doing an overhand throwing motion and the ball's clearing the top of your lineman by several feet. You're throwing a line drive. You're not arcing it. So he's not in the thing. So the only way he can throw across the middle is in between in the alleys between his linemen. So he has like little openings, little windows between his linemen that he'd have to throw across the middle. That's why he was the worst over the middle. His stats, all his great throws were perimeter throws. He had great perimeter wide receivers. Like Odunze, perfect. All those guys are sidelined. That's college football, guys. Look at Mac Jones had these great, his deep throws were all down sideline perimeter stuff, not across the middle. You know who's the best across the middle? Drake May. Second best, Caleb Williams. McCarthy, even better than both Jaden Daniels and Penix. So that's the thing, guys. That's why I was like, everybody thinks I'm not anti. I still think he was the fourth best guy on the board. It's just that he can't throw across the middle. So then you throw in the injuries, and he walks with a knock knee. So it's not just like, here's the thing. If I've seen, let's take Tom Brady, right? His ACL obviously getting crushed, right? But before that, I never said like, oh yeah, Tom Brady looks like prime candidate for an ACL. But when you have non-contact ACLs, when you're just like running, you stop and you cut, your knee gives out. Once in a while, yeah, your foot gets caught in the grass, your ankle, you get planted, and your shin, everything from your shin on down is solid, and your hips and your thigh turn, and things just go, right? That happens. I've seen it happen too many times. But it's just like, it looks relatively, benign, but it's snapped. But some people just like, they're doing a basic cut and it just gives out. They're like, their bones just rattle and it goes. Well, because not everybody has the same knee structures. Now, I said this before, like Penix has what they call articulated joints or sharp joints, which if you look at him, like there's none of his joints are like big and heavy, right? They're really small, which makes him athletic. It makes it very springy. Like Michael Penix, in terms of having an active arm, best in the class. He wings it. It's all at the elbow, right? That's great. But when you have that same thing throughout your whole body, like when you have articulated joints, it's not like, oh, it's just your elbow. It's everything. It's your wrist, it's your knees, it's even your hips. Michael Penix has narrow hips, which doesn't allow his glutes to actually stabilize his thigh. And then he has a narrow knee, which that means his tibial plateau, which is the flat part of your shin bone at the top, is very thin and very narrow, and typically has a posterior slope. What does that mean? The back part of the bone, if you're looking at the top, like if it's a table, it's tilted. So you can see because he walks knock-kneed, right? So all those coaches that love him because he throws the football really well and he looks like he can put up the things, but there's a bunch of scouts and medical guys saying, that dude's due for another one. Now, everybody's saying, well, he passed his physicals at the combine. I gotta repeat this. Are you guys ready for this? That means he's cleared to participate in the combine. That is not a clean bill of health. That doesn't mean like his knee's all good to go. It's just that, hey, it's not injured right now. He's had surgery, right? He's had surgeries, but that doesn't mean like it's like everything looks beautiful. Because it'll never look beautiful. That's the thing. Even with modern, it'll never look beautiful, guys. And yes, you can go in, and maybe the second time he did it, they went in there and you can put some things into the knee that kind of stops having that posterior tilt. I'm not sure. I'm not his doctor, but I'm just telling you, like, these are the things that when you go and scout people and you watch how they walk, you're making notes. Like, this guy's joints are articulated and they hyperextend when they're walking. And the guy is, some people are just injury prone in general. It is like those guys. There's just the guys that just tend to just be athletic as hell, but they just can't stay on the field because they have the joints that make them really springy and elasticy and very athletic. But those joints are not stable. And they don't go out because they got hit. They go out because they blew out their elbow the third time as a pitcher, right? Or in this case, they blew out their knee. So anyway, sorry, I went down the Michael Penix rabbit hole there. Oh, and by the way, if you throw sidearm, you have an elongated throwing motion. The ball has to go behind you and back, not just up and over. When you go over the top, you have overhand throwing motion. The ball barely goes behind your shoulder. It's there for a split second. When you do sidearm, it has to go behind you in order for you to throw it forward. And also, when you have a sidearm, you don't miss north to south. I shouldn't say north to south, up and down. So if I'm trying to throw to somebody and they're coming across the middle, it's okay if I'm a little bit high or a little bit low, right? Because they can just put their hands down or they can jump up and get the ball. But when you're sidearm, you don't miss typically up and down because you're coming across your body. You're either going to be way out in front of them or way behind. So either you're going to overshoot them or they're going to get them killed going across the middle. Again, that's why they stay away from That's why Penix was like, stay away from, whatever. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, you have a split second, and you have to hit them in like basically in stride. So you can't have guys like, you can't be throwing the ball 2 feet behind him because that's going to be picked off or just a miss. I don't know. I don't know. I wish him well. I'm not like all the like I never like want to like because I don't know these guys. It's not like I have anything personal against them. It's just that when people, it's like I just want people to know like there's reasons why you stay away from people like that situation. Like you have a elongated throw motion, the ball never gets above. Like every single defensive line coach or defensive coordinator is telling all their guys like, don't even bother going for his hand. Just put your arm. Just reach out for him, right? If you reach out for him, the ball's gonna come into you, like he's gonna try to throw literally like right through you. His arm's gonna come right through you. He's never gonna throw above you. So you just have to go for the sack. You don't even have to go for like trying to strip the ball or going for the swat. Just go for him, because if you're tackling him, you're also gonna hit the ball. Like, oh my god, like if. That's something that needed to be like nixed right in half. But here's the problem. His sidearm throwing motion happened after shoulder surgery. He used to throw the ball. It was like a 3/4 slot. It wasn't like a true over the head. But it got whatever his shoulder surgery. I don't know what happened with that. Whatever it was, it only got worse this past year, like in terms of his throwing motion. And his revolutions per second on the ball, so the spiral, how many spirals, how many rotations in that spiral over 10 yards is the worst out of all the top 5 quarterbacks. So you put that in like some heavy wind and snow, not good. Now in the dome, he's gonna be fine. Yeah, like this is the stuff like when you go like you say you're just doing high school recruiting, your college, you're doing high school, you're scouting kids, like college scouts look at that. Like actually, when you're recruiting people, you bring people with you and you say, take a look at this guy. Any red flags? If that was what I saw in high school out of a quarterback, I'd be like, no, no. Now, would it be the fact that he can sling the ball and he's a great leader and all that other stuff? Great. And then like people are saying he ran a 4.6. Now he went a 4.6 hand time. Now if you do it yourself and you put the film up, right, it's like a 4.78. Now how is that possible? Well, here's the thing. You're going on first movement. When you're actually at the combine, it's all laser. So there's a hand time backup, but it's laser timed. So when you move, right, you trip the laser, that's already going. Now, when you're relying upon someone's reaction time, I'm not going to get it instantaneously. So I want you just to like try something at home. You're watching something and move and take a stopwatch, and you just, the moment it moves, just click, click, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's going to be half a second. So your reaction time is going to at least give the runner at least a 0.1. We used to say 0.2. So whatever the guy ran, add 0.2 to it. So he's not that fast, guys. And if you do it with the video, it's, again, like I said, it's a 4.78 at best. And notice how he didn't do any lateral stuff. So he didn't do any agility, didn't do any 3-cone, he didn't do shuttle, which is what you want to know, but he won't do that because his knee's shot. All right, let's do some updates. Let's see what we got. Now that I went on my intermission on Penix rant. Not sure if this is updated yet. Jet Bush. He's okay. He's okay. Definitely not. I mean, we're just like taking, like, this is all camp body. Almost all these guys are camp bodies. I forgot about him. Where is he on my list? Bush. Jet Bush. Wasn't he? He's Mississippi, right? I don't, right? Or is he? He's in there. I know he's got to be in there. Really? Did I screw this up? Oh my gosh, he's not in here. Okay, maybe he's not on my list. I know who he is. Holy crap, he's not there. I swore I had him on here. Interesting. Jet Bush. Yeah, Texas. Oh, okay, he was Texas. I thought he was. Who am I thinking of then? He's a big dude though, isn't he? Isn't he like 6'2", like 240 something? Like he's not bad. Six-two, 242. Yeah, that's him. Total tackles. You ready? Want to know what total tackles were for the year? Total tackles for the year 17. Dude never played. Like who? It's like, oh my god, we got. What year? He's got to be like a graduate student, right? Like 8th year senior. No, he's just a senior. So he's probably the poor bastard that was on special teams all that time and he didn't have any like really good years of redshirt. No, I'm wrong. He's been playing college football since he's 2019. So this is what? He's a 5th year guy. Okay, so the guy's interception this past year. I'll shut up. He had a couple sacks. So when he's on the field, he was doing something apparently. Oh, that's funny. I'm just like, what's a jaded? It would be the. It's just like, hey, whatever happened to Mark Perry? Did Mark Perry get drafted? Oh, he did get to somewhere. Where'd he go? Oh yeah, didn't he go to the Dolphins? Right. Great. So another time when Dolphins. Christ, we suck. My daughter says like, what was it? Yeah, it's called. No, my son said the Patriots. Let's pray for him. It's the Patriots. All right. Let's do a couple of names that we're really keeping an eye on. Right. I should probably put this up here. I should write this down. Okay. David White. How do you spell it? Quinzel. Joe Andreessen, which I doubt we're getting now. I think it's that one, yeah. There's a few other names. Oh, yeah, Sean Stevens. Glasgow. Bray Walker. Can't type anymore. Oh yeah, Gabe Wallace. Mike Ragerman. Test. Test. Jeez. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that wasn't. I must have. There must be some hotkey that I must have pressed. I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh man, I don't know how long that went on, but just doing some updates here. All right, let's. There's a lot more guys. All right, so we have to figure out if we're still missing what's going on with David White Jr. Now I'm getting feedback. All right, let's go to our list here, this short low list, and we'll keep adding to it. Jacksonville Jaguars. So it seems like David White is at Jags. Quinzel. So David White's off the board, it looks like. Shit, man. Why can't we just... it's not, it has to be because we're just not calling anybody. So maybe we just have to move on from, thinking that we're going to... I don't know. Wouldn't you want to, try, though? See what you can do? Still nothing on Quinzel Lockhart, though, yet. Anything on Joe Andreessen yet? I can't believe Joe Andreessen is not already, in the Buffalo Bill Hall of Fame already. Still, and then Dylan Kelly from the New Albany. Did Eric Watts? What happened to Eric Watts from UConn? Did he get drafted? I think he's still out. I think Eric Watts is still out. He's an edge dude. Now, he's big dude. It should be on. Dude, I am so sorry with the volume. I don't know what I'm doing. I must be pressing something. Or my software is doing it to me. I have to watch. I'll keep the chat up more just in case if it just pops up again. I'm not really looking at the chat. I'll keep it right in front of me. Yeah, sorry guys. All right. Anybody down here that's worth watching for? Yeah, Schrader. Actually, let's take a look at Schrader. Thank you for letting me know. Blue Water Cat. Some of you guys have some interesting names. Who are we looking up again? Oh yeah, Garrett Schrader. I don't think because of the shoulder injury, I don't think he's going to anybody's camp, but he never be. No, nothing yet. Yeah, so Garrett Schrader's still out there. What I need to do is get headphones so I'll know when I'm not speaking. But when I'm working and I'm looking for alerts, I have that coming from other devices, so I can't have like a headphone plugged into 3 different devices. So maybe I'll figure something out, guys, with that. He's a legit fullback, and so is Ron. Oh, what happened? Yeah, let's do some of these guys. He had a good year, but he's slow. Joshua Hayward. There's Martin Marshall. Oh, Rico Payton. Yes. Yes. And then let's see if we can find that. And then Okonkwo. He's another one to take a look at. All right, let's see if we can find that. And then Nari Gaither would be another one to keep an eye on. Now this is like really going deep, but I think we have to. Rico Payton should be. I'm sure he got picked up. Somebody had to. Yeah. Shit. He's off. Saints. It's like, oh, we can go look. No. Oh, Chapman. Oh, James Cahoon. Did he get picked up? The Bridgewater State guy? Come on, James. James Cahoon. No? Nothing yet? No, he has not been claimed yet. I'm going to put that on the list. So he's there, and I'll take both these guys. Why can't I do things today? I'm doing this the absolute, like, the long way today. Sam Schnee. Mark Pope, Sam Schnee. Let's see if those guys have been claimed yet. Yep, Sam Schnee's been signed with... Who'd he sign with? The Bengals? Oh, god damn it! These guys all screwed me. All these. All right, where's Sam Schnee go? Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, so Sam Schnee's going to the Bengals. Guy who's almost near 600 on my board. Bengals. Mark Pope. I'm getting the basketball player. Well, let's put Mark Pope, UMass. Nope, nothing yet. So he's out there. Oh man, these last few days I've been tired. Cole Beck has not been claimed yet. Nasty return specialist. Put him on the board. Who was the other guy that I wanted to look up? Okonkwo. I think he'll probably be around. I'm not like huge on him, but as a special teams guy. Nope, nothing yet. Yeah, so I guess I'll just take it easy for a bit. If anybody's got any updates, let me know. Jeez. He's got an interesting... this guy can play, though. Bozeman can play. Conquo can play. I'll put him on the list. Why not? Because I'm gonna forget to look with this where this guy even ends up. One day I'll just be like, what happened to him? And you know, we're not. I don't want to say we're like, oh yeah, Jerron Butler. What happened to him? Oh yeah, him. Hey, Devon Hebron. Where'd he go? And Jurgens is actually pretty good too. Nope. Nothing for him. Oh, Tavian McCarthy. Him too. I mean, it's like all these people that I'm going to get excited about. It's like, well, why am I getting excited about? We already have enough corners in the first place. The fact that we brought in Mikey Victor, It's interesting because we already drafted one guy, so maybe it's just like kind of backup on that, but nothing on him yet. Oh, so let's put him on the board. He can play. Oh, and he hasn't been claimed yet. That's our D tackle that we should be looking at. That's our D tackle that we can consider. Look at that. Look where I had him. That's where I had our first pick of the day. Number 500. Undrafted free agent. Not even high priority. Holy crap. What embarrassment. Now, I'm not saying I'm right, because, again, once you get down here, it's mostly about snaps, injuries. Yeah, so when you get that sort, and then your position, too, your position value is a guard. And the grading is partially of need, too. Like, this guy's actually a good punter. This guy's a good punter. But you know what? For me, he's 40. You know why? We don't need a freaking punter. So if you're down here, it's not always like because you suck. It's also we just don't need you. But apparently we do, because we've brought in 2 guards free agency. We drafted 3 guys who can play guard last year, and we still need more guards. And we actually spent draft capital on it. And I'm one for, say, bolster up the offensive line however you can. Just, I mean, maybe this guy, he's going to have to start. This guy's going to have to start over Cole Strange until Cole's ready to go. That guy's going to have to play left guard. It's probably going to have to be left, because typically your left guard, if you have a right-handed quarterback, your left guard's usually the weaker of the guards, because that's where the center usually brings the help. So Layden Robinson probably going to be starting for us. If not, actually, you know what? It should probably be Jake. Jake's a bulldog. I like him. And that way he'd be like ready to go if David needs to go. It's done. Man, yeah, that might be it. All right, let me check the chat here. I haven't looked at it, guys. It's way over on the side, so. Yeah. Did I put him in there? No, I don't even have him in there. Getting tired. Hands are getting heavy. I'll probably cut it off at 11 o'clock. So, actually, what's your guys? I mean, if you've been following me, I've been Drake May for a while, but who's your favorite pick for the Patriots? For me, Well, it'll be the obvious ones. It would be Drake May and then Javon Baker. Javon Baker I pointed out like 3-4 months ago now, so it'll be him, Javon Baker, uh, and then probably Jaheim Bell. I do like Caden Wallace too. I thought the way it was going, it made sense they had to get him in the third. And in terms of grading, I had him as like a fourth. So, yeah, I'm not as like to me. Polk was like a slight overdraft, only because I just didn't see it in his tape that he's going to be a creator. Like I think he's one of those guys I think needs to be unleashed. So like if you're putting him out there, who on the Patriots is helping him get the weaker cover corner, who's thinner and not as good, that he can outmuscle and outwork, right? So like when you're a bigger dude, if you're a bigger dude and you run, right? That's all momentum. That's all stuff. Like if you get the ball and somebody starts hanging on to you, you're gonna break tackles, and you're gonna get things deep. I think the Jaheim, I like the Jaheim Bell one a lot. I thought he'd be like a fifth rounder. To get him in the seventh is cheap. I wonder why. Now, my initial thing is he's not really a good tight end. He's not. He's not a good tight end. Like, he's a good receiver. He can actually hand the ball off in the back. So he's really like an H-back fullback, which I'm okay with. But the other problem is that he's not like a gnarly blocker too. So the things that you want to like, what do you want from a tight end? Big target. He's not that big. Hands wise, he's pretty good. He does break tackles, yeah. And you also want to have a good blocker. He's not an amazing blocker. So he's more like of just a bigger wide receiver. He has knowledge of playing in different positions. Yeah, the value, it's really the versatility. Yeah. That's the thing. Like him in the seventh, home run. I think that's the best value that we got. Who else? It's Baker. Dial, I wasn't really happy about. Like, my thing about those was, why didn't we just get Travis Glover? Like you're right there. Why didn't you just get Travis Glover? Because like here's the thing. We have a decent amount of corners, and we have even safeties still. Like Bledsoe. I know he hasn't played a lot, but like, if you're just looking for depth pieces in this draft, they should be. Anybody you're drafting this year needs to be upgrades. There should be no reason for depth. You can get depth pieces this year like you wouldn't believe, because all these guys that are coming in, even this UDFAs, are going to be in the system this year. There's all these guys who got drafted a few years ago. They're going to get kicked out. If you need somebody like depth wise, just to backfill, you probably could have done it that way. But your offensive line is like, you need to be finding the correct combination of dudes, not trying to find the correct arrangement of the guys you have, right? There's the difference in what I'm saying there. There's a difference between, you need to go find the talent that can work together in the alignments that they know and can play with. Professional football players, yes, if you're an offensive lineman, you should probably be able to play almost every position on that line. Even though you're not cut out to play at the NFL level, you should be able to, like, skills-wise. Like, you should at least be operable, right? Maybe not the best, but operable in those positions. I don't mind the idea of trying Chooks at left tackle, but holy crap. If you're going by draft grades, like the most important positions on your team, it goes quarterback, and then it goes cornerback, and then after that it goes to edge rusher after that. Then it goes to the primary edge rusher, and then it goes to left tackle, because typically you have right-handed quarterbacks, and then wide receivers fifth. And that has to do with impact on the game. And that actually makes sense because when you think about it, the quarterback is the most important thing. All those other ones have to do with the quarterback, right? Because corner is playing against the quarterback and the receiver, so that's why it's so important. The edge rusher is trying to get to the quarterback, right? And then the left tackle is trying to prevent that edge rusher from getting to the quarterback, and the receiver is catching the ball. Those are the biggest, most important positions in all of football. They have statistically the strongest impact. So I understand why we went after some of those guys, but geez, like not having somebody who legitimately plays left tackle right now I'm bothered. But you know what? I think the Gerard Mayo signing thing, whatever you want to say there, but like Scott Peters, I think is it goes to me. If you want to ask me like the best offseason moves thus far, it's literally been get Drake May, and then Scott Peters right behind him. Yeah, Frank Crumb's gone. All the good left tackles left out there after free agency are gone. They're all gone. Nolan Potter's gone. Mike Edwards is gone. He was picked up immediately. Oh yeah, like, see, the thing is, like, the Layden Robinson, like, it's not. I mean, I have him at 500 on my board just because it's like he's not that. I mean, he's not an amazing guard, right? Now, why would you have to get him in the fourth? Because you'd have to have strong intel that dude was going to be picked before what, the 10th one? You're at 110 or whatever we had. So between that one and, oh my gosh, like, you could have gotten Brandon Dorless, guys. Now, you're probably saying, oh, he's a D tackle. Actually, Brandon Dorless, snap-wise, played a decent amount of, like, 5-tech. That was pretty much where he was hanging out. But he came in inside for the 3, and he was playing off-ball linebacker sometimes. Like, that dude was playing upright, and he was playing outside on the edge. Like, that guy was, like, a freaking freak, and that's why he was rated. I mean, some people had him as a fringe first rounder, and most people probably had him like in the 50s to 70s, and he made it all the way to the 4th day. Now, I don't know why. Yeah, like Javon Foster, like that dude's, yeah, there's like, beginning, for some reason, the 4th round for us is always this, like, you have a moment to reset and say to yourself, because that's when, like, you get done with your first three picks, right? On day 3, you should be like, all right, where are we going to take a swing? Because you can sit down and you can say to your scouts and you can say to your coaching staff, this scout thinks this dude can do it. And you say to your coach, can you do your job? Because I know you might not be like, we're like looking at these guys. It's almost too hard to pass up. I know we've been looking at this guy, but this guy fell out. And I know it wasn't like, maybe we might have some issues with it. But, like, that's when you can at least say, like, it's who really says, like, oh, yeah, you really screwed up on day 3 with that pick? The screw-ups on day 3 is not the picks you get. It's the people you miss on day 3. That's when I get pissed off, at least. Like, I'm not pissed at, like, any of the day 3 picks we got last year. None of them are, like, a problem as a person. Like, as a player, Ryland with his kicking, probably is the issue there. But I have no problem with Jake Andrews. Mafi hasn't been great, but hey, he didn't have a freaking offensive line coach last year. So obviously was a great pickup. Kayshon Boutte was a great value grab. Obviously, Douglas was a good spot. Amir Speed didn't make it through waivers, but he was looking pretty good. And then, what's his face? I like the guy, and why? Who's the guy we picked up last? Oh, who's the safety or the corner that we picked up last year that got the concussion at Green Bay game in the preseason? Anyway, but like he's good too. Like he was playing pretty good, and he's also a really good kick returner. Zay Bolden, Isaiah Bolden. Yeah, so like I mean, none of those guys, like I'm not faulting them. That's all fine. But you know, like why I am pissed about last year not picking up. I guess Blake. We could have picked up Blake last year, and then DeJuan Jones at tackles last year in the fourth round. They were sitting there. Yeah, no, not Amir Speed. Amir Speed. Yeah, I did mention him, Amir Speed, but then Isaiah Bolden. Remember, he had the really bad concussion in the Green Bay game. You know, he's pretty good. Like they did. All that was really yeah. They're all good. But swinging back to 20 this draft here, is that it's never like I have no problem with Layton. I have no problem with picking up Dial. You know, Baker obviously I love. Jaheim Bell's a good pickup. None of those I have any problem with the players because they're actually, when you look at them, they're pretty damn good. But who else was on the board, guys? Because if you're like, especially when you're in a state of like, you need to get young, you need to get young, and you need to be taking chances at like hitting on day 3 picks. Because again, you might have a problem with, we didn't, there's a few guys that we a little bit more like, the classic high floor type of situations. Who wants a high floor guy on like day 3 unless it's a position that like you don't want? Like, isn't that when you're taking like the Flyers? Now in the 4th round, yeah, I get it, but like when you only have like 7 or 8, or even like, if you have like single digit amount of draft picks in the year, you got to designate a good chunk of them to like, if this guy works out and this is what we wanted at the day, I don't know. To me it looked like it was more like we were picking out specific dudes and they have a plan for it, which I can't fault them for it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You're right, Tony. That's like he has to be like the placeholder for Cole Strange before, if he comes back. He has to be. He has to be Cole Strange's like, and that's the thing. Like, I don't is Jake Andrews not good enough? Yeah, Tristan Hill is pretty good. You know who's my actual sleeper? And you're gonna be like, no, you're an idiot. This year, if actually, it's a sleeper if they use him correctly, and he's been used wrong since he's been drafted, is actually Jalen Rager. You know why? Jalen Rager, like Malachi Corley, like the guy's bit. He's like, stocky dude. Now he's bigger than Jalen, but only by like 10 pounds, I think. Jalen Rager was an absolute screen monster in college. In fact, even people call Malachi Corley like, the god of the Godfather of screen or whatever, screen passes. Jalen Rager still has more yards than him out of screens, but everybody uses him like as a deep ball threat because he can do it, because he's fast. Because it's like, just run fast, just go out there and throw it up, and we'll get to you. Like, yeah, that's something he can do. But you know what's even better? If you can utilize his kick return ability, just like how we used with Marcus. Like, we brought Marcus in 2 years ago to do what? Catch a screen pass and use his kick and punt return abilities to navigate all the traffic. Just do that with Jalen Rager. Just do it with him. You just got him on a dirt cheap deal. That's my like weird sleeper for the year. But you know what has to happen? You need to freaking play call for it. Now, why didn't we do it last year? Because Mac Jones can't rifle the ball, and you can't, like, if you're gonna throw a screen, it can't be like some like soft like frisbee throw. right? Because the ball has to get to your dude instantaneously, because you're hoping that your blockers can hold their guy for a second. And if you get through that first line and you did it quick enough, the safety and linebackers are not going to have enough time to basically get to you. And your pursuit angle, and if you're a fast dude like Rager, you're not going to get like 5 or 6 yards. You're getting like 15. That's my, like, I'm, kind of sleeper on the that we're not really thinking about. And then Alex Austin probably be another one. Anybody else that we should probably think that could have another great year, that should have a good year, that we're not considering? Jalen Rager. I mean, I don't think Thornton's going to have... I don't know. I hope he can. He needs a good coach because he can't run routes correctly. I mean, dude doesn't know does not look like he knows what he's doing out there. Actually, while we're speaking here, let me do my two little things on Thornton and Cole Strange. A lot of people beat up and say that first of all, the Cole Strange pick was bad. Now, the one thing about the Cole Strange pick is you have to understand that he's actually the best guard still from that draft class. Now, you can hate that they drafted him because they decided to get rid of the guards that they had, which were legitimate guards, and some of them are still some of the best guards in the NFL. That's the mistake. But to make the mistake, to say that drafting Cole Strange at that point in the draft, you needed a guard. You needed somebody to come in and actually play the position, so you had to get a guard. Now, you actually picked the right one out of the whole draft because no one after him is better than him, and the two guards that were drafted ahead of him in the first round are busts. So, I mean, not saying Cole Strange isn't a bust, but at this point, he hasn't had an offensive line coach his whole entire NFL career, and he had a bad knee all last year, and then he finally snapped it. He was injured the whole year, fighting it off, and then it finally gave out on him in the second to last game or the last game of the year. So, that's another one. Now, the Thornton situation, that's another... I mean, that draft class in general was horrendous. That's the other thing, was when you guys, you think you're pissed off about that draft class. Every fan base in the NFL is pissed, that thinks they're all sitting there, oh yeah, they couldn't draft worth crap that year. Because the whole draft sucked. The whole draft sucked. The first round is like half of them didn't do anything. Haven't done anything. It's reality. You have to, it's the thing. Everybody draft class, the strengths of class go up and down, up and down. Not every draft is the same. So when you sit there and you look at Tyquan Thornton, there's one or two wide receivers that were drafted after him that have actually done anything better than him. They're can even contribute. Now, there's some that were drafted ahead of him that have done very well, that's for sure. But at that point, you're trying to get some speed and you're trying to get a fast wide receiver. He was basically the best available. He was the best thing to get. There's only a couple guys that you would say that were, that drafted after him that were better in some way. So I don't think, I didn't think they were going to go after him because I didn't think he was that good. But when I got him, I'm like, if you want to get a fast wide receiver, that's about it. And there's nobody else really better. So everybody, sometimes when you're looking at draft classes, you have to do it with what's available, what do you need, how badly do you need it, what's available in free agency. Now we can talk about why we go after a quarterback, the trade back group. We can, if you want to talk about the trade back group, trading back in the first round not to get a quarterback, would have been foolish, because although I like the idea of getting draft cap, I'm always like, let's just get as many picks as possible because I think it's smart, it's economical, law of probability, and all that stuff. I like that, but you have to realize most of the NFL. I'm sorry, let's say half the NFL is probably looking for an upgrade at their quarterback position, and there's 7 or 8 teams that absolutely deathly needs a quarterback. We were one of them, and sort of the Denver, and I don't know what the Raiders are doing. I guess they're okay with O'Connell, but obviously the Vikings need one, and they got one. I didn't think the Falcons definitely needed one, but they took the chance there. Now everybody's saying, well, why'd they do that? Well, I don't know. Maybe I think when I watch right now the couple things I've seen from Kirk walking around and then doing some throwing, that calf is denervated. He's not pushing off it. It is dead. He can get it back, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to be on time, and it's not going to be 100%. And here's the thing. If Kirk's going to be done in 2 years, what quarterback in the college football in 2 years that you really think you're going to want to get, right? The reality check here is that you have 2 big problems. You've had several years of really bad quarterback classes coming through the draft, so you can't rely upon any quarterbacks really coming up in free agency that you're going to go get, right? And then now you look at next year's quarterback class. Although there's a lot of decent names, I'm not sure there's even one actual first round quality graded quarterback in next year's draft class as of right now. Now, in terms of in reality, if you use their stats from 2023, there isn't one. Drew Aller is probably statistically that, and Weigerman from Texas A&M, and then Riley Leonard is in there. Shador is not. He could do better next year because his dad went out and got basically all the offensive talent he can possibly get. But next year, there's no Caleb Williams or Drake Mays next year. These guys that came out this year, and even some of the guys who are the older guys like Jaden and Penix and Bo Nix, have kind of been near the top of their respective recruitment classes their whole entire career. And I'm talking from high school. Bo Nix is actually from high school was that guy can be pretty good. And everybody's shitting on him, saying that he sucks. It's actually he's much better than a lot of the other stuff that's coming up behind. Now that doesn't mean some of these guys might pop next year, especially if they transfer. They pull Jaden Daniels and not really doing so well at Arizona. I'll go to LSU, where, by the way, there are 4-star athletes, 4-star wide receivers that are on LSU that were dressing for games that never saw a snap this year. Meanwhile, our dude that we just got, his best dude, came and played against serious press corners. And then the knock on it is well, he did much better last year when he had Josh Downs. Josh Downs would be a day 3 pick this year. He would, he'd be 4th round, but he was a 2nd rounder last year. He wouldn't be in the 2nd round this year. Maybe he'd get somewhere in the 3rd, maybe. But don't think it's the knock on Drake Mays that he had he was a little bit better with Josh Downs last year. Oh yeah, okay. A slot receiver is meanwhile he got look at what's going on with Penix and Daniels. They have better those wide receiver rooms are better than every single wide receiver room in all of the NFL. Oh my god. Some people are freaking ignorant. Oh, brutal. Don't worry, guys. You gotta that guy. He's gonna need a little bit of work, but Penix and Nix, those guys have had several more years of college football in them compared to him. I don't think he's actually as all right, so let's say this. Actually, here's another great one. Well, he had so many bad games this year, and they go NC State, and I'm do you think he played worse game against NC State than, let's say, Caleb Williams did against Notre Dame? Now, Notre Dame had an okay defense, but NC State's defense better than Notre Dame's defense. Come on. Come on. Yeah, Quinn Ewers is not bad. Now, if you actually, because here's another thing. If you want to talk about the guys who are actually up next year for quarterbacks, most of their top guys in next year's draft class are guys who could have gone out this year, but everybody said to him, dude, you're going to be like a day 3 pick. Don't go. And just by simply returning and coming back next year, you're going to be a first-round draft pick. So what's the smart thing to do? Go back, get your NIL deal, sit around, see if you can convince your guys to go get some guys in the transfer portal this week, and bolster up, and hopefully you have enough weapons around you to make your case to be a top quarterback next year. I mean, Shedeur, I'm sure if Shedeur Sanders, in November was being projected to be a first-round draft pick, he would have stayed, or would have been drafted. He would have came out. His dad would have said enough, and his dad would have made up some sort of story that, even though he's going to get drafted in the second round, we didn't like any of the teams that were going to draft him, some crap. But point being, next year it's got some guys like Carson Beck is not bad. It's all these not bads, but they're all like nobody. Let's talk about the idea. Like carrying traits, right? Which is or some people call them cornerstone traits, stuff like that, translatable stuff. Different ideas no matter what, you're amazing at this, and nobody can stop you from doing this. So who are those type of guys, right? Josh Allen, Mahomes. Obviously, there's Lamar Jackson. Despite of I'm not saying he's a great quarterback really, but just as an athlete, him at the position as a guy who's going out there and getting the ball in his hands as an athlete. What's the thing? Well, the guy's got it. He actually has a good arm, and whenever he wants to, he can just go. He can go. And that's the problem. You always have to game plan for that. You always have to game plan for Josh Allen in that way. Those are things you can't take away from him. Now, a lot of guys next year, name me a guy who has one of these traits that just makes them no matter what, they're gonna pull something out of their backside. Caleb Williams can do that. Jane Daniels can do that. Right? Caleb Williams can just make plays. He's a playmaker. Figure stuff out. Now, sometimes it works really hard against him. He gets massive sacks against him. Jane Daniels runs into sacks. Drake May got sacked a lot last year. Now, thankfully, if you actually watch his games and not just be like, oh, he's Sam Howell. If you actually watch his games, his sacks when he took sacks, were smart. Because he didn't drop back 7 or 8 yards to try to extend the play and get chased down and for a 10-15 yard loss. He didn't do those. That's not how he played. He took sacks. He's a pretty well educated quarterback. He's got issues, but the dude made touchdowns with his left arm last year when he was getting tackled. Probably not a smart idea in most respects, but he can do it. Mac last year, he tried doing that. What was that against the what? Was that the Colts game where he tried doing something stupid like that and he floated the ball up in the air? It looked like a punt and got intercepted. Mac had nothing like that. Us was oh, okay, well, if it's gonna be late in the game, he knows who he should be throwing to. Good. I'm glad he knows what he should be doing as a quarterback. He's really good at knowing what to do. Can he pull it off? No. And if things go wrong, what can he do with it? Not much. Now, just so you know, 2 years ago, do you know who the leading rusher was for UNC? Drake May. That's the thing, guys. He was one of the best. He's probably the second fastest quarterback he's faster than Caleb Williams. GPS wise, he's faster than Caleb Williams. If you actually do GPS tracking and you do motion analysis tracking on with the tape film, he's faster. The only person that's really fastest is Jaden Daniels in real life. Now, We didn't see all. Now, not everybody was a rusher, so we can't say that. But the guy can move. He's a big dude. There's really, I have no red flags. It's just, can the team coach him? If he fails, it's not him, guys. If he fails, it's because they went out and they didn't get the right guys to work with him, or their game plan sucked. That's true. Now, I can say the same thing with Mac, and it was fumbled. But we can see that, like, I think Bill knew that Mac wasn't exactly the guy. I mean, he didn't talk to the kid. He never did that with Brady. you know, Brady came right to him and talked to him almost every time, right? So, anyway, let's do one more check and we can close this sucker up, right? I went like half an hour longer than I said it was. One last check on what we got here. Yeah, not much. So it's basically this last block I'm really happy about, and Charles Turner, and then Marshall Martin might actually be able to do something. I don't know if he'll make the team. So we lost out. We didn't. It's just like last year where I was just like, there's guys. There was not a lot of guys last year, but there was still some dudes that I knew could have worked. And like, here's the one. I'll say this. Last year, yeah, I don't have any like, what I mean by red flags is that, like, when I see it, it's so bad that you can say concerns. So for me, like, a red flag is different than like a concern. Like, you can be apprehensive or question, but it's all like, well, he doesn't do something as well, but why doesn't he do it? Well, because he doesn't know how to do it, or he needs to work on it. Dude, if you're a coach, like, is that a problem? Like, I mean, all I'm seeing, I want to see potential. I want to see a guy that, like, if he moves correctly and he's got, like, good contact balance. And when we want to talk some other things, you want to talk about contact balance. Like, the guy can actually hold off being sacked. He pulls away from sacks. Like, that's a weird thing to talk about, but, like, he can, like, your bigger quarterbacks, yeah, he can play like a big quarterback. He can play like a Ben Roethlisberger and Josh Allen to a certain extent. Like, he doesn't just get hit and get knocked and floored. Like, he'll fight through it. It's hard to bring him down. Now, the other two guys, not so much. That's not like, there's things where you can say, what did mom give him? What did his mom give him, and what can I teach him? And if it's all my concerns of what can I teach him, then it's not his problem. It's not a red flag for him. It's a thing on me. Can I do it? Because if it's simply, if he can't do it because he can't physically do it, he doesn't have the genetics to do it. I even if I put him through heavy training, I know he's got a limited, like, upside. That's not a problem for me. Yeah, so it is not. I don't have any major red flags for Drake May. I don't. You can come up with something. Yeah, like, I mean, it's all like, I don't know, like, and then people just, oh, gives me, like, Trubisky vibes, or like, or say Sam Howell. It's like, well, why are you saying that? Oh, because UNC? What the, who, like, what are you? Like, what is that thought analysis? That's just like, I want to have a negative take and go after it. Now, let me say this. Yeah, Joe Milton's a beast. Joe Milton might be one of my. I like that pick to a certain. I don't like using it on a quarterback. So you're yeah. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But back to May. Like, yeah, if you got an athlete that has, like, if you can't coach him up, that's on you. You can't get him to. You can't fix his footwork. It's not his footwork is egregious. It's not like he's doing things backwards. It just needs to be cleaned up. Oh, he gets a little, like, anxious or something like that. What? He plays football. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's because you're getting a sense by watching him, but you're not in his head. I mean, does he make some bad throws? Yeah, but guess what? When you're behind and you have to make plays and you don't have like a whole army of, if your wide receivers are not Roma Dunze and Polk and McMillan, or Brian Thomas Jr. and Neighbors and was it Lacey and what's the other guy that was in there? Or I mean, gosh, imagine like what would Drake May look like if he was on if he had Ohio State University's wide receiver room this past year? Holy crap! It's all you got to think about like what you're talking about before you start making like he's Mitch Trubisky. Why? Oh, he's just another Mac Jones. What is in his game that looks like Mac Jones? Yeah, you just gotta work it. You just gotta practice. He's not now. If you were now say, if I'm looking at Michael Penix, who's what was he 24, 25, and he's been how many snaps in college, and if he still looks the same, as he did his freshman year, that's a concern. If he's still the same dude as freshman year, that's a concern. Drake May, we don't really know because he's only played a couple years really of college. So, I mean, and a dramatic difference in terms of offensive talent last year versus this year. Not to mention a completely different offense. Not just like players, like offensive coordinator. I don't like. They were a ranked team, guys. They were a ranked team. I don't know. I just don't know. And they did it all right until like Tez Walker wasn't there until what, like the third, fourth week. Yeah, there's not the, and I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, he's easily like a Josh Allen comp. It might be. I mean, I see similarities, both good and bad. So, and at the same time, like, oh yeah, he relied upon just gunning it down the field, and he would take off and run it if he didn't have to. Now, let me say this, guys. When you're coaching people, do you want to have an athlete that you have to either pull back on the reins, or would you rather have the athlete that you have to get the cattle prod out and like, come on? No, it's easier to. I'd rather pull back on the reins on an athlete and tell them like, hey, slow down, do it this way, rather than have to saying like, come on, dude, go for it. You're not going for the kill, or go for it and he's going for the kill and nothing's happening, which would be like the Mac Jones situation. Like, the options, the amount of other options that, like, Mac Jones had options on the table and they were hard set in stone, and that's what was happening at the snap. If it didn't work out, it was screwed. Like, Drake May can have some, stuff set in stone that he might like, but the dude can easily at any time just go completely off script and do something about it because he has the arm and the legs to do it. And nobody's going to want to be able to want to tackle that dude. He's bigger than most. That's actually not a bad way of saying it. And more athletic Phillip Rivers. Yeah. Yeah, Phillip Rivers didn't really have a good arm though, did he? No. Oh, he did before his arm, yeah, before the injury he did. And after the injury he didn't. That's not bad. Maybe Carson Palmer might be a good one. That's not a bad one. Yeah, I think he does feel when I watch him, I don't have, again, it's not like he misses things. Now the guy who misses things was Jane Daniels. He missed things because he would go the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, look around one last time, keep the ball and run. Now, that can be a game plan, but sometimes when he was starting to tuck his head down and go for the run, there was still some good options on the table, so he got used to it. It became a bad habit. So I don't know. I think he does fine with that stuff. My thing is that he throws over the middle of the field. And he pointed that out. He knows that, which is important. He knows that he's the quarterback that can throw over the middle of the field. I did a video, that I loaded right when he got drafted. If you watch that one, I made sure I had the clips in there of him throwing over the middle, like actual quarterback, like NFL throwing the ball passes. Like the big thing about college, if you look at college like highlights, they're almost always like 30-yard, 40-yard passes down the sideline, acrobatic catch or maybe getting it right in the guy's breadbasket type of throws. Because in college, everything's outside the hashes, right? NFL, if you have good receivers, you want them inside. Why? Because they have places to run around, right? They have ways to move around. You don't want to constantly rely upon going down the sideline at the professional level, right? Because there's the risk of obviously throwing the ball out of bounds. It's a good spot if you're, in certain parts of the game, it's obviously good to do that. But the defense can rely upon that sideline to just knock you out, right? But then all of a sudden, if you have a big, like you take a Debo or now a Leggett down the middle of the field going across, oh my gosh, put the ball in his hands and he can move around. Like that's a problem because now he can navigate the whole field. Right, you want to give your best playmakers space. You don't want to put them in essentially in a corner or against a wall on the sideline. Out to the flats. That's great. That's always an option. But you don't want to that's not where you want your best receivers doing their work. You want your best receivers really putting some hurt in the middle of the defense, because that's when you're putting people. If you want to go like air raid style, right? Air raid's always about putting, defensive players in conflict. Air raid doesn't work with things on the sidelines and out on the sides. Like you have those routes in there, but it's always about putting pressure, making the safety decide about, who am I going after? And they have to make a decision, and if you make the decision, there's always a better option. That's the simplicity of air raid, right? Now that you don't have to go full-blown air raid your whole entire career, and that's the way you do it, but the concepts can be put into your offense, right? But that doesn't happen on the sidelines because you're not putting anybody in conflict. Outside the numbers, no. Inside the hash lines, yeah, that's where you're making people make decisions, and then somebody's going to make a mistake, and someone's going to be basically wide open, and they're going to be running at full head steam, and you just ram it in there. Anyway, let's cut this off. I'll check back in the morning. Overall, disappointing UDFA. Thought they would go after something. One last update. Look how big the Seahawks, how many guys they're bringing in. If I had to pick one guy I think that'll make it, probably be Mikey Victor. And then probably Charles Turner, yeah. Charles Turner, Mikey Victor. And then, John Trey probably make it for special teams. And then, obviously, Caleb Forbes-Dement would be another one. If you guys want to look, Mikey Victor, you'll find some decent tape on. But this guy, you'll find some awesome stuff on him for tape. He's scary. Marshall Martin, actually, from his tape will look pretty good, too. So, maybe I'll make some videos on these guys. Del Pettis is actually pretty good, too. But, in general, I'm kind of pissed off. There's some guys he could have brought in. Not bringing Jalen Coker is very disappointing. Because he's a good guy. That would have been. He's a good kid. He's a freaking good kid. I'm sick and tired of having these freaking like one last little mini rant before you end this. Like New England, like if you go to a New England game, it's full of hardworking people like that are in the stands. Like they're not about hearing people talking about getting their bags and like all that freaking crap. Like that's the reality. That's not how they work. They're looking for hardworking kids that like just do their job. Like do your job. Like do your job is not just related to like the Patriots. That is a like New England thing. Like people get up, go to work. Not that doesn't happen in other parts of the country, but like do your job doesn't ring really well in Las Vegas or like in Atlanta or like in Miami. You see what I'm saying? But in New England, like blue collar to the extreme. Everybody takes pride in what they do. You got craftsmen that work there, all these people, professionals, people that like a variety of different people that all have to go to work. And just like to have some guys that just want to be, goofing off and not invest in the team, do stupid things, not thinking about like what if I'm going to do something stupid on social media and say stupid stuff on social media. And I don't care what that means to the other people that I work with. Like I do that and I'm not like even on social media in that respect. Like I don't want to do anything dumb to embarrass the people that like rely upon me. But these guys, no problem. So like getting Jalen Coker would have been a nice little easy way of giving us an excuse to get rid of some of this like junk that we have going on. Anyway, I'm gonna end it. Yes, you're right, Stabby McStab. No true left tackle drafted. I would have been happy with Travis Glover. I don't know. You know what I'd say is let's not give up on Vidarian Lowe. You might hate that idea, but guess what? Vidarian Lowe is younger than he's younger. Mafi's younger than him, but Vidarian Lowe was younger than Jake Andrews, and he's much younger than City Sow. So just give him a second. He's young. He's young. Give him a shot. I think he might actually develop into something. Might be actually a backup, but maybe it's another. Him and Chooks can at least hold down the fort for a year, and then next year, first half of the draft, lots of left tackles again. Not as good as this year in terms of like beasts, but like in terms of like solid left tackles, there's probably 5 in the first round next year. So maybe we'll get a shot at one of those. 1 year of just pain again and frustration. And maybe we go after Mekhi Becton or something like that. I think that's also something that they really should consider. But anyway, I'm going to close it off there. If you guys like this content, of course, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.